They'll probably hang you, buddy.
You coming, buddy?
Welcome back to another night with Friday Nights. Through all of the gunslinging, plan making, and mango farming Red Dead Redemption 2 has to offer, there lies a hidden world full of mysteries, creepy vibes, and just plain weird stuff.
It's a short life, but a merry one.
Here we are, all the fixins'. I hope you boys left some room in your trousers.
That smells delicious. The food don't smell too bad neither.
Oh, stop it, you! How do you like it?
It's good. Different. That meat is so tender. You know what? This place used to be a pig farm when we was kids. Before we lost our ma and pa. Horrible business.
Horrible.
But we still got each other. Ain't that right, honey pie?
And we still know how to have a hog-killing time.
And that hidden world is the one I love to explore. I know I'm not the first to review these subjects, but I want to turn and throwing my hat into the ring of strange mysteries in this virtual Wild West. So let's start the night off. There's many different types of people you can meet on your travels through Red Dead Redemption. But did you know that there's actually fortune tellers you can meet? For instance, if you're wandering around the swamps of Lemoyne and are lucky enough, you might meet an old soothsayer. While she isn't the most interesting, she does make references to the respective character's story and personality.
This is now the time of machines, the time of things. The time of man came and went as all things pass. As all things pass, my friend. Even the gods die. Even the gods die an ignoble death. We killed him! And what did we replace him with? What? With what? With absolutely nothing! Enjoy.
Okay, thanks.
But let's be honest, when I brought up the topic of fortune tellers, any Red Dead fans already had who I'm going to talk about next on their mind. Blind Man Cassidy is the more common of the two fortune tellers to meet, as he mostly hangs out in the heartlands on the sides of roads begging for money. While just like the soothsayer and telling the future for both Arthur and John, Blind Man Cassidy goes into further detail about the two's story, and even will comment on their honor at the time.
Your whole life has been one of regret, but it can end better than it began. I sense great confusion in you, sir. Great confusion. Not because you do not know, but because you are afraid of what you know. Your father is seduced by the one with the forked tongue. It's no use hoping.
So what are the stories behind these two characters? Well, for the soothsayer, it's actually pretty easy to understand. Soothsaying is the act of predicting events, and it's actually a pretty common thing to find shops centered around telling the future in New Orleans, which is what Saint Denis is based off of. Everything from her clothing to how she speaks is a reference to the fortune tellers of New Orleans and the general bayou around it. Now, the blind man. The blind man is a bit more interesting in my opinion. I think that Blind Man Cassidy is directly inspired by the Hermit Tarot card. For starters, the most famous depiction of the Hermit is an old man with a hooded cloak, a long beard, and a walking stick, similarities that he shares with Blind Man Cassidy. Along with that, the direct meaning of the Hermit card taken from the Google page is, the Hermit suggests that you are in a phase of introspection, where you are drawing your attention inwards and looking for answers. You are in need of a period of inner reflection, away from the current demands of your position, along with the keywords introspection, meditation, self-reflection, and solitude. Besides telling the future, these are the target of all of Old Man Cassidy's speeches that he gives the player character. He tells both John and Arthur to look in themselves to come to the right conclusion. This theory even explains how Blind Man Cassidy tells the future, as tarot cards are used for that exact purpose. If you all have any theories about Blind Man Cassidy and the Soothsayer, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to read them. This ghost town has been a point of interest for the community ever since the game came out. The ironically named Pleasance, and you'll see what I mean later, is an abandoned settlement that can be found in Scarlet Meadows in the Lemoyne region. While it doesn't look like much, just old sheds falling apart, upon further inspection you'll slowly learn that the site has a dark history. So what caused Pleasance to be abandoned? Well, you can actually find the answer. A mass murder. Yeah, this is definitely one of the more grim topics on this list. But the town was the site of a genocide that resulted in the deaths of 10 people. Their graves are able to be found near the town. As to what caused the genocide, there has been tons of theories, such as them being Satan worshippers, to a callback to the zombie DLC Undead Nightmare. It was a DLC for the first game. It would explain why the graffiti that decorates the town constantly references sickness. Originally, I had a different theory on what happened to Pleasance, but it revolved around the Civil War, and Pleasance was founded around 18 years after the war? Well then what did happen? In my opinion, regarding the location and the various groups that prowl around the area, I think that they were people in the wrong place at the wrong time. Pleasance is smack dab in the middle of Lemoyne Raider territory, a faction of people that couldn't get over the South's loss of the Civil War. It isn't a stretch to say that the Lemoyne Raiders could have attacked Pleasance for their supplies, or there could have been territorial disputes between the two parties. As for the graffiti, I don't have any theories on that. But hey, zombies are always an option. I think it's pretty common for people to be scared or at least mildly creeped out about forests at night. And it's no different for Red Dead's forests. But what if I told you that supposedly a hidden creature lurks in the forests? No, it's not a bear, and not a mountain lion. It's something potentially much worse. The forest monster has been something that has been reported ever since the game's launch. There is actually evidence that the forest monster was going to be in the game or was cut content. Somebody on Reddit found out that there were sound files hidden in the game files that referred to a forest monster. I'm gonna play them right now. If the forest monster does exist in the game, then what is it? A lot of people would like to say it's the Sasquatch, or possibly a Wendigo. Hell, even Slenderman. Yeah, remember when he was scary? However, I think that the forest monster is something that seasoned RDR fans might already be familiar with. But to understand, we'll have to go back in time to when the Wild West looked like this. Back when the original Red Dead Redemption came out, tales of a monster inhabiting the Tall Trees area were common on old forums and such. They called it the Werewolf of Tall Trees.
Greetings.
Not the cleverest name, but it was believed that it did exist in the game. However, it was never found, most likely because it didn't exist. The werewolf was thought to be an inclusion in Undead Nightmare, but again, nothing came of it. Rockstar loves to reference old urban legends or general conversations about their past games in their new titles. Their most commonly used way of referencing is Easter eggs. such as the Statue of Happiness in GTA 4, referencing the hot coffee debate, and the achievement called 6 Years in the Making, where you get an achievement after killing a Sasquatch. Now that might sound like a weird thing to name an achievement, but given context, it makes sense. The achievement references GTA San Andreas, which came out 6 years earlier, and it was commonly believed that Bigfoot could be found in the game. So, with that tangent done, and you asking how does this relate to Red Dead Redemption 2? Well, I'll tell you. I think that the forest monster is simply just the werewolf that was thought to be in Red Dead Redemption, and this entire thing is just Rockstar doing what Rockstar does, referencing old urban legends through Easter eggs. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Man, talking about that forest monster was fun, huh? But honestly, I think it would be cooler to see a river monster instead. Jesus!
Hey, sorry to interrupt. There's actually evidence for that being in the game. Like, there's actually audio files for it.
Wait, really? That's awesome. Yeah, let's listen to it. Are you gonna fix the door, though? But yeah, the river monster in RDR2 is, well, a river monster that may or may not exist in the game. Let me explain. So, just like the forest monster, since the game's release, no one's been able to find the mysterious river monster that supposedly lurks in the game's many lakes and rivers. However, while in-game evidence might be hard to come by, we do know that there either is or was planned to be, or is planned to be, a river monster, due to the previously mentioned audio that was found by the people going through the files of the game. Okay, so if we found the audio, have we found the model? Well, sadly no. However, it is rumored that the model for the river monster was used in the GTA Online Gallo Perico heist update. This is due to there being a plesiosaur-esque creature that can be found in the water surrounding the island that the update mainly takes place on. It doesn't do anything though except look really cool. It might seem far-fetched at first, however it is pretty common for Rockstar to reuse assets. Also, since the model is so defined and has obviously had a bunch of effort put into it, it really doesn't make sense for the devs to make such a high-textured model and put it in an area where you can't see the details. So does that mean the RDR2 river monster is dead in the water? Well, not totally. Believers think that the river monster is either an event that can only be triggered under very specific conditions, or that the river monster will be later added into the game after a large DLC or re-release. So hey, here's hoping that the monster didn't go belly up and we can still find it. Maybe we just have to fish around a bit more. Okay, let's be honest. Everyone knew I was going to talk about the Strange Man. He's the epitome of mystery in the Red Dead series. For those who don't know the mystery of the Strange Man, it starts in RDR1. He's a quest giver whose quests revolve around the honor system in-game. In the quests, you can choose to take the honorable or dishonorable routes, both giving you different outcomes to the missions.
John Marston.
Do I know you?
I hope so. I seem to know you.
I'm pretty good at remembering faces.
Are you? Do you remember Hattie McCourt's face?
Who?
She was a girl Dutch Vanderlyn shot in the head on that raid on the ferry a few years back. Same one you got shot on. Pretty girl, until her eye was hanging out by a thread of tendon and her brain was plastered over a wall.
Not really.
Then why would you remember me, friend? You've forgotten far more important people than me.
What's your game, friend?
I don't have a game, John. Listen, sometimes I just wish I'd known more about life. Wish I'd had better guidance. A friend of mine is drunk as a skunk in a saloon on Thieves' Landing. I think he's gonna be unfaithful to his dear wife. Why don't you head over there and see if you can advise him how best to proceed?
What do you think I am?
I know what you are, John. Just if you've got the time, friend.
Marston, what a coincidence.
Welcome to Nuevo Paraiso, John.
Where do I know you from?
You're famous, John. You're the man who shot a bunch of banditos as soon as he turned up in this country. You're a man who decided right and wrong, between a man and death, between a man and his wife.
And who are you?
You know, I admire you, John. I hope my boy turns out just like you.
For your sake, I hope you don't.
But why are you faithful to your wife if you pay a man to sleep with whores?
I'll let the appropriate authorities judge my morality, friend.
Yes, you will. And they shall. Anyway, I hear that an old nun is traveling from the monastery, taking the money she raised to the bank. Why don't you head up there and see if you can lend her a hand? Road's full of thieves. Either that or rob her yourself. I'll see you around, John.
I hope you don't.
We have to stop meeting like this, John.
Ain't this a beautiful spot?
Sure. What are you doing here?
My accounts. I'm an accountant.
Is that so?
In a way.
What's your name?
You know, it's the darndest thing. I can't remember.
Tell me your damn name and where you know me from.
Well, I know you from Mexico. I know you from back out west. Hell, I know you from all over.
Tell me your name or I won't be responsible for my actions.
Oh, but you will. You will be responsible. This is a fine spot. See you around, cowboy.
Damn you!
Yes, many have.
The Strange Man knows a lot about John Marston, knowing key details about John's past, along with Arthur's and RDR2. However, Arthur doesn't meet with the man face to face. You can find the Strange Man's really creepy cabin, which holds several writings on the walls that reference the events of the game's story. If you actually 100% the game, you can come back to the cabin as John, and stare into the mirror, only to find the Strange Man staring over John's shoulder, only being visible in the reflection, and not in the actual room. Okay, so what is the strange man? Well, there's 3 biggest theories for the strange man. One, that he's the devil. The next, he's God. And the last one is that he's a Grim Reaper. Each theory does have very compelling arguments, but also flaws in their logic. However, my personal favorite is that the strange man is death, as it explains most of his mannerisms, how he knows where John dies, why he's dressed as a mortician from that era, and etc. But I honestly don't think any of these theories are actually what the strange man is. The theories have way too many flaws in them and aren't totally concrete. So what do I think? I think the strange man is obviously not of our world, but I think he's just supposed to be a representation of the morality system present in both games. His entire character surrounds morality and its consequences, his morality-based quests being the biggest piece of evidence for this, along with the scribbles on the walls of his cabin, and how they change depending on whether you made the honorable or dishonorable choice. However, there's also a lot of holes in my theory as well, and honestly that's okay. There's some things that just don't need to be solved. And I think the strange man is one of those things. Just something we look at and go, what the fuck is this dude's deal? Yeah, so before we wrap up for the night, I wanted to look at some of the weirder or funnier or crazier posts on the Red Dead Mysteries subreddit. I'm definitely not a Redditor by any means, however I used this forum a lot when I was researching for this video. It has a lot of documentation on the mysteries in Red Dead, but I also noticed that there's some really crazy posts on here, and I thought it would be fun to just look at them. So yeah, let's look around and see what we can find. Anyone else wonder why the strange man's house has a gator locked in a cage? Yeah, I forgot to mention this in the strange man segment, but for some reason there's just a dead gator locked up in the cage underneath his house, and no one's been able to figure out why. I'm pretty sure Rockstar just kind of put it there as a weird gag, but yeah, I don't know why it's there. Me, a pagan, finding the pagan ritual site, nervous sweating. Yeah, I've always wondered how pagans would react to finding the pagan ritual sites in RDR. I know I have some pagan friends, but none of them are very big gamers. So yeah, it's cool to actually like see someone else's perspective on it that practices the religion. Oh my god. That's a lot of weird. My spin on the Dutch made a deal with the strange man theory. Me and my friend formulated this a week ago, and it makes so much sense. We figure the strange man is the angel of death. Dutch sells his son, Arthur, to save the soul of the gang, and when he realizes that Arthur is more than that to him, he can't stand to lose him. He flees to Montana, then to Blackwater, until Micah, a vassal of the strange man, infiltrated the gang to take Arthur's soul to hell. The strange man torments Dutch in his mind, driving him insane. In the high honor ending, Arthur dies naturally. In the low honor ending, Micah kills him, sending him to hell. When Arthur escapes the vassal of the strange man, the curse passes on to John as the next son of Dutch. When Dutch shoots Micah to spare John, and he can't even stand to look John in the eyes out of guilt. The strange man, knowing John's fate, tests his honor in 1911 to determine if he is worthy to pay the price. After Dutch dies and goes to hell, the curse is broken, and John meets his end and goes to heaven, leaving behind Jack free of curses. What do you guys think? And thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Like I said before, that's a lot of weird. I really have no other way to I got no words for this. That was just the most comprehensive gibberish I've ever read, though. I mean, good for him in that regard. Found this by the lab of the robot dude. Am I tripping, or does it look like some kind of Stone Age painting? I don't know why that reminds me of that one meme of the floor is made out of floor. But yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this. No, yeah, that's dirt and roots, man. Have you ever seen a Stone Age painting? They don't look like that. Different angle of the abandoned shack in the Heartlands. Actually, from this perspective, it oddly looks like the game map. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hard disagree on that one. Oh yeah, this comment, perfectly sums it up. Quarantine is really hitting some harder than others. What the hell was that sound? Not Micah calling someone a cocksucker? But that sound! I want to hear it now. I really want to hear what that sound could be. Yeah, I really don't know what they're talking about. All I could hear was Micah's Francis Sinclair, real identity and his link to Freemasonry and Hermeticism. One thing that always intrigues me is Mason. Who the hell is he, and why is he free? Yeah, there's always gonna be one of these theories, like, you know, oh, everybody's in a secret cult, Obama's a furry, Walt Disney's still alive, and I'm just like, ah, come on, I gotta have more to work with. This isn't cool. Could you add the fact that there are lizard people in it, and make it a little bit more fun, you know? It's just like, oh, it's cool, a secret cult. That's it. Do they at least, like, do anything fun in it? Do they have cool parties? I don't know. I'm not really into conspiracy theories as much as I am into, like, you know, weird stuff and monsters. And yeah, that kind of wraps up the night. I've always been a huge fan of the weird side of Red Dead Redemption 2 ever since it came out. I remember I'd stay up super late at night trying to find all the UFOs or trying to find the ghost in the swamps. I'm still looking for her. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you support the channel. It actually does mean a lot to me. But yeah, if I missed any theories that you guys think I should have covered, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. I might do a part 2. But yeah, have a great night, everybody. Take care of yourselves.